Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at the Thermal Master THOR 002, and this is a standalone industrial grade thermal imaging camera. And the great thing about this one is that you don't need to actually plug it into your phone or another screen. Just basically works straight out of the box. And it's also a fraction of the price of similar spec competitors such as the FLIR E6 XT. And I've had the THOR 002 now for about a week and have been pretty impressed with what this thing can do. So yeah, if you're thinking about a serious handheld thermal camera for inspections, maybe HVAC electronics, or even long range scouting, about 100 or so meters ahead, I think this is a great all-rounder. And as you can see, this thing is built like a tank. It's pretty much the only thermal camera that I've reviewed on my channel where I just feel like I don't have to baby the thing or worry about dropping it. So in terms of what you get in the box, Thermal Master include this large carry case, can't even fit the whole thing on camera. As you can see, it latches down and it's got padding on the top around the sides there, kind of a little cutout where you can grab the camera and slot it straight in there. So if you need to carry this thing around, and you also get this USB-C charging cable. I didn't open it up because I've just got so many of these things. Thermal Master also include this quick start guide as well as an extended 3-year warranty. And it's interesting to see that Thermal Master also include this calibration certificate, and you can see the certification that they've calibrated the camera to, and that's something I haven't seen on their other models. So in terms of first impressions, I really thought the THOR 002 was definitely looks more like a proper handheld inspection tool. When I've sort of seen thermal cameras in the past, this is the way that I've kind of pictured them, because you see a lot of those people, those inspectors actually using them on houses and buildings, and yeah, they're using these sorts of handheld standalone devices rather than the keychain sized thermal cameras that just plug into your phone. So yeah, this thing is made of ABS, feels very ergonomic. So you've got a chunky grip here, trigger there on the back as well. And yes, it's just a lot larger and tougher than a lot of those USB-C plug-in units. You can see on my channel, I've actually reviewed quite a few of them. They're basically a fraction of the size, and this comes with an IP54 rating, also 2-meter drop resistance. So it's definitely going to stand up to a bit of rough usage. 3.5-inch IPS display up front. You've got these physical controls as well, which are large enough so that you can use them with gloves. And you've also got this cool protective sort of shutter here that can be deployed over the lens. And yeah, this is great when the camera is not in use, and it looks like Thermal Master have aimed this one at tradespeople or basically anyone who needs a standalone thermal measurement unit. In terms of the specifications, you can obviously go to the product page, but I'll go through the basic specs. So the sensor here is a 256 by 192 pixel sensor. However, they have used a kind of upscaling system. You can see here in the corner that X3 upscaling symbol. So it's upscaled to 512 by 384. So that does actually make the image look smoother and slightly sharper. And the camera lens is recessed into the head of the device. So that's good, just so that if you drop it, you're less likely to damage the actual lens. That's the most important part of the camera. And, you know, it's also 25 hertz. So when you move it around, as you can see, there's decent sort of smoothness, which is great. And, you know, for real-time playback, you really can't beat that. And you can see just below the thermal camera, there is a visible light camera as well, a secondary camera, and that's used for an overlay mode, which I'll demonstrate later. You've also got a built-in flashlight and a red laser. The focal length of the thermal camera is 4.3 millimeters. It's a fixed focus camera, 40 degrees by 30 degrees field of view. So it's a fairly wide field of view, and also 12 micrometer pixel pitch. It's according to the spec sheet. And yeah, I think this gives a reasonably wide coverage. So if you are using this for internal areas of buildings, electrical inspections, you're not just going to get a tiny little area that you have to move around. You're actually going to get a larger picture of what's going on. And the screen here, again, I did mention it's an IPS display, so 640 by 480. It's non-touch. It's got a thermal sensitivity of less than 40 millikelvin, which is pretty standard for this type of device. and thermal range measures from negative 20 degrees Celsius to 550 degrees Celsius, plus or minus 2 degrees Celsius in terms of sensitivity. And you also get a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. And I tried to actually open this thing up to sort of get into it. I managed to take off the cap, but there is a second set of screws inside. I'm pretty sure if we undo those and pull off the front panel, you should be able to get into the battery. So, and Thermal Master rate the Thor 002 with this 5,000 milliamp battery to have 8 to 10.5 hours of runtime, which I think is pretty decent. Obviously, there's probably some bits and pieces that or some assumptions like brightness and who knows what else, but yeah, it's good to see that the base is made of aluminium alloy, and it's got a screw hole here that can be threaded into a 1/4 inch tripod mount. On the top of the device, you have a micro SD card slot. You get a 32 gigabyte card with the Thor 002. They include that, and also a USB-C charging port. This is also used to connect to your computer. There's an application that you can run this. You can run this on your computer as well, which I'll demonstrate a bit later. Now, underneath the camera here, you also have this switch, which is used for taking pictures and videos. Alrighty, so I'm going to run through a little demo of the UI so you know basically how the thing is operated. So I have the device on at the moment, but if you press once, basically the screen turns off. You can press and hold, turn on and off. Now, one thing I've noticed is that this does take a little while to turn on and off. So it's turned off now. Let's press and hold. So I believe it takes maybe 10, 15 seconds to actually turn on. A bit of an animation there at the start. Okay, and yeah, you can see the camera is activated, but actually the UI and everything still takes a little while before it actually activates. So yeah, just run this in real time so you know kind of what to expect. There you go. So yeah, it's decent. It does take a little while to turn on though. So yeah, let's have a look. What else do we have? This button here is to activate the flashlight. So you sort of press once and press to hold, and if you hold, you can access this laser, and press and hold to turn off the laser. You can actually have both of them on at the same time if you want. Yeah, I don't know why you'd want to do that, but yeah, that's what that button does anyway. Now, if you have just the normal, I guess, view at the moment, you can press these side buttons to access like a zoomy mode. So that's a 4x zoom. If you look in the top right hand corner, 4x zoom, and you go to 2x zoom. Okay, and this one just does pretty much the same thing, just cycles forwards, whereas this one cycles backwards, 1, 2. So you can go from 2x magnification to 1x, that kind of thing. That's the back button, which I'll show you a bit later. This button here allows you to access previous videos and yeah, basically previous images and stuff like that. So I took like a dummy image there, nothing really showed up. Let's have a look here. That's like a video I did just before. So you can play that through. There's no speaker on this thing, so yeah, but at least you can play back the video, and it's pretty smooth, as you can see. And we'll stop the video. Let's go back, and yeah, you can hit that middle button here to access a few of these interesting little settings. So here I've got measurement selected, so hit the center button to just select that sub menu, and at the moment I've got the center spot enabled, and I've got the minimum and maximum. Okay, so you can see those little dots moving around the screen. That measures the highest and lowest temperature here on the screen. Now if I click there, I can deactivate the center spot, I can deactivate the minimum, deactivate the maximum. So if you don't want to have any, I guess, temperature measurements cropping up on the screen, that's just reduces all that stuff moving around. But there's a few other things you can do as well. You can click custom spot, and yeah, basically just like move this crosshair around. Maybe you want to measure like there, and then press there, and then it measures that particular spot. I'm just going to remove that. Second custom spot, third custom spot, so you can have 3 of them. Temperature difference addition, temperature difference removal. I don't use those at all. Let's go back, and yeah, that's pretty much it for the temperature measurement area. So view mode here. So this is the IR mode by itself, but you can actually switch to just the visible light, as you can see there. So it's using that secondary camera, visual light camera, and then you've got this fuse option. Now this is cool because you can basically just toggle here to see the overlay. Yeah, it's kind of like it blends the thermal image with the actual visual camera itself. Now it doesn't look so good at the moment because it's not aligned. So essentially what you have to do is you go into the that's picture-in-picture mode as well. I don't really use that. I go into this dual spectrum fusion registration, and here you can basically just reposition so that the overlay sits directly above. It takes a little bit of fiddling around, and I find that depending on what you're looking at, if you're looking at targets that are basically the same distance for most of the day, you can just leave it on that one setting. But if you're switching between targets that are close up and further away, you're going to have to recalibrate this pretty often. So yeah, I don't use this that much, but it could be useful for some people if you need to know exactly what you're looking at. It gives you a better indication of maybe there's an area that's hotter, and you can toggle this again to make the thermal overlay stronger or weaker. That's 100%. Yeah, depending on what you'd like. But anyway, let's go back into the menu, press that center thing again. So yeah, those are pretty much the view modes. I generally just leave it on the IR mode. I think that's the main reason people get something like this. And coming up next is the palette. So you've got iron. So there's just different pseudo color options. So iron, what have we got here? You've got lava, black hot, white hot, rainbow. I don't know what this one is. RDGY. Okay, so there's just these different color palettes that you can swap, and I tend to use the iron one and the black hot and the white hot one. I just find they just look a lot better and give a nice tonal range, whereas the lava mode kind of just almost emphasizes some of the hottest areas. Iron mode is also, like I said, one of my favorites. Let's go back, and if we head into the settings section, there's a few different things you can do. So measurement parameters, this is really important, and I don't see this on some high-end thermal cameras from FLIR for some reason, and this allows you to change the emissivity values, so you can actually go in and swap between all these different emissivity values here. Okay. There's just a ton of different things to choose from. And if I go all the way, does it actually cycle? Let me have a look. Geez, it just keeps on going. Okay, now it's gone over to the top. And you can also, if you go up here, just lower or increase the emissivity to like a custom level, which I think is so important, because what I actually do when I'm measuring certain anodizing or bits and pieces, I'll get GPT to help and find the emissivity value of a particular, or I guess estimate the emissivity value of a particular material. Sometimes that material is not a common material that's listed. So yeah, so you can select that, and there you go, 0.89. So you can set a custom one, which is cool. Atmospheric temperature as well you can set, and distance, which are important factors when taking thermal measurements. They actually impact the measurement itself. So a lot of other thermal cameras don't seem to allow you to change those two values. So that's pretty cool. Thermal measurement gear. So I have this set on -20 to 150 degrees Celsius, but if you're measuring things that are hotter, you'd want to set it to that, 100 to 550 degrees Celsius, or the auto mode. I just set it to the top one because I'm not looking at anything too hot. And yep, alarm setting here. So basically, if you want to set a maximum temperature alarm, you can activate that, go into there. So basically, if the temperature falls between these parameters, you can get the Thermal Master to THOR 002 to alert you. if you're looking at photo settings as well, auto save images. So yeah, I actually don't click this. So sometimes I'll accidentally take an image, and yeah, I want to be able to just confirm via that center, not the center, but the trigger on the back. But yeah, you can just configure it so that if you press once, it will just auto save it. There's a timer bit there as well. There's also isotherm mode. So if you want to visualize temperature within a certain range, this is how you can alter that and set that. You've got the X3 real-time super resolution. So yeah, this is what I mean. So at the moment it's activated. Okay, so you can see it's kind of a little bit sharper and smoother. Now if I go back in there and deactivate it and then go back, you can see there's a little more pixelation. Okay, but yeah, it's not a huge difference, but I do find, especially up close, it does help tidy up the image, make it look a little nicer. I just keep it on. Video settings as well, same as the photo settings. You can auto save video when you press and hold the trigger at the back, and there's silent recording as well, assuming that deactivates the microphone. Unit settings you can change. Wi-Fi setting, now this is cool. I'll demo this in a moment, but yeah, basically you can connect your phone via an application and stream the screen, what's happening on the screen here, to another phone. So I've done that to actually screen record and record video of the video demonstration of this device. But yeah, if you are using this maybe with another person, maybe you're both working on a particular building and you both need to see the visual of what's going on in the thermal, this is a really good way to have that. And I believe you should be able to connect to various devices, various phones as well, not just one. Screen display. So here you can change a few little bits and pieces. So I sort of leave this on the default setting, but basically if you go back here, you can just disable bits and pieces here. So if you don't want that emissivity value showing up in the corner, you can disable that. Yeah, all these little bits and pieces here on the screen, you can go in and disable it to make it look a bit more clean. So I guess some people, if you're just using this as a visual temperature gauge and you don't care about the actual flashing temperature values and stuff like that, you can eliminate all of this and just have it show up as an image, and that's it. And let's go back, see what else there is. There's an auto power off, screen display. Oh, I've already gone through that auto power off setting. So I've set that to 20 minutes. In the system setting, there's a few other bits and pieces. So device information, I think, yeah, it shows the firmware bits and pieces. Restore factory settings. Formats, SD card, brightness. So there's like 3 brightness levels. Actually might switch this on to high. I had it on to medium last night when I was doing some videos just to preserve the battery a little bit. But yeah, date and time you can set in there as well. Language, there's a few options in here. What else is there? Portuguese. Yeah, so quite a few different options, and the update here as well. Yeah, basically, there's not a updated firmware for the THOR 002 just yet. I went and checked, and it doesn't seem like they've updated it. But apparently, you should upload it onto the SD card, and then you can update from there. There is what's this open source license? That's pretty much it. Now, I'll just do a quick demo of the photo and video taking feature. So you need to use this trigger here on the rear. So if I press once, okay, you see that little thing pops up. Now, because I don't have the auto save on, basically I just hit the trigger once more and it will save. Now, if I press and hold here, you can see the video is recording. All right, and to stop the video recording, just press once, and again, you've got this same sort of thing that shows up. You can press again to save the trigger, or you can go across and actually cancel save. So I tend to do this because sometimes, like I said, I might accidentally press that trigger and I just don't want it to save automatically. But for a lot of people, yeah, you might want to turn that off just in case Okay, so this is a quick little demo of the Wi-Fi connectivity feature. So basically, I've gone ahead and activated this in the settings here under Wi-Fi setting. Now, if you're not using this, I would probably turn it off because it's going to consume additional power, just because it's got the Wi-Fi 2.4 gigahertz on. So basically, you just connect to this device via Wi-Fi on your phone, and it streams directly to your phone. Now I'm going to point this camera just at me. Where we got it. Here we go. So it's got something to look at, and you can see here on my phone, it's got like a real-time feed of me. And you can also hit record video or image capture. What I tend to do personally is I'll just have an external screen recording device, and I'll hit screen record, so that if I want to narrate or add in any audio over the top, it's gonna come across clearer because it will come through the microphone on my actual phone. But it's a really simple, as you can see, like super simple kind of connection feature. You can go through and actually find the images as well that are saved onto the device. You can grab those, download those images directly to your phone like that. Download success. I don't have any videos in there, so it's not showing any of them. But yeah, it's pretty simple, as you can see. Allows you also to have a secondary screen, so if you're actually pointing the camera somewhere and you can't be behind the thing to observe, yeah, you've got this option as well. Okay, so I've just got the app open up on my computer at the moment. It's called the Thermal Smart OS app, and you can find this on the Thermal Master website. And basically, this allows you to connect the camera directly to your computer, record, take photos and videos, and also analyze the data offline as well. So if you've just got the videos saved to your device, you can actually analyze them. But there's a few other cool features as well that you have here. So let me just demonstrate. So at the moment, you just got to select the camera there. Okay, let me just point this at myself. There you go. There's the microphone. Here I am. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, you've got to like these it's flashing up. So you've got the hottest part of the scene and the lowest part of the scene. I haven't set the emissivity value properly, so it is showing a bit off in terms of temperature, which is again another reminder to make sure that you're setting all those emissivity values correctly. But yeah, anyway, you've got this feature, so you can actually add in like a point, different points. I believe that 3 points, or can I add more? Okay, there's 4. So yeah, there's a few more features that you can add in. Geez, okay, it doesn't seem to want to kick me out and say that's enough. This is nuts. Okay, so like, okay, so there's, I don't know if there's an actual whatchamacallit limit, but it seems to be enough for most people anyway. So you can draw these lines as well here on the screen, and this will kind of basically measure the hottest and the coolest, hottest and coldest temperature along this line. So it could be me anyway. I might be measuring the temperature of a flashlight or something like that, and I don't want it to look at any other area or just focus on that area. That can be something good. Now, I wonder if I can turn off these little flashy bits and pieces. I'm pretty sure there's an ability to do that. I just haven't figured out how to do that yet. Temperature difference. Okay, nope. You can draw polygons as well here on the screen. So if you got like a specific like shape like that, there you go. You can measure temperature within there. And this little thing here in the corner allows you to enlarge to full screen. Just hit escape to go back. Okay, and have a look on the gallery. You can go through previous videos and previous like bits and pieces that you've recorded in the past, taken photos and things like that in the past. And yeah, there's additional data here. Well, let me just pause this. You can actually go in here and select also like all the different not isotherm, the pseudo palettes as well, and that's post recording. So there's quite a few. Like I said, I only use a few of them the iron and black heat, white heat mode. Okay, yeah, more tools here, so you can highlight temperatures between a certain range as well. It's more of like an analysis tool, and you can go into images, pretty much do the same thing as well. Okay, more images. Oh, that one looks really weird. That sky. Yeah, that sky one looks really strange. Like, it seems to pick up more detail. Whatever data it records, the temperature data, it interprets it a little bit differently. PUOR. So yeah, that's interesting. Has some like, yeah, that looks really odd. But I'm sure some of you may have an idea of what some of these modes are actually used for in terms of analysis more than me anyway. Something really cool as well is that if you have a video, an offline video, you can actually, for example, figure out maybe the temperature at a particular time period. So like partway through the video, that kind of thing. That's probably not the best one to use. The point data might be better if I want to, I don't know, pop this over my eye, for example, 31.2, and I just want to see, for example, like at this point of the video, you know, what the temperature was. Keeps all that data. And of course, while you have the program running on your computer, you can take pictures just like that. So this little icon, and then also record. So start your recording, and we can stop video recording, and then basically go into the gallery and pick out that same video. It always seems to start on this white hot mode. So yeah, I want to pop it into that weird other one. Okay, sort of weird mode there. But yeah, pretty cool. You know, I really like how you can actually analyze the data post recording, which doesn't seem to be the case on a lot of thermal devices. And yeah, especially not on the device itself. You know, you need to actually load this onto the computer for you to get that feature. Okay, so I've talked about all the features and all the good stuff you get with the Thermal Master THOR 002, but I want to talk about some considerations if you're thinking about getting one of these. And the first one is size. As you can see, it's pretty bulky compared to some of the pocket USB thermal modules. And as an example, I've got the Thermal Master P3 and the P2 Pro. They plug straight into your phone, and in comparison they really are quite tiny, but at the same time these things are very fragile. You really have to be careful not to drop these things. You also have to connect them up to another screen or another phone. So yeah, I think this one here, the THOR 002, is meant as a handheld inspection tool, so it's not a kind of carry everywhere gadget. It's not something you can just quickly slip in your pocket. It's also fairly rugged and likely to hold up to knocks and rain, given that it's got a proper IP rating and 2-meter drop resistance. The second consideration I want to talk about is that the THOR 002 uses fixed focus. So there is no focusing dial, and there's a minimum focus distance of 30 centimeters as well. So if you get any closer, as you can see, things kind of get blurry, and yeah, accuracy will definitely drop. Okay, so yeah, on the THOR 002, which is the, I guess, the better value version, the cheaper version of the THOR 001, they don't include a macro lens, and you can't buy one as well. But if you get the THOR 001, it does come with a macro option. So just in case some of you guys need that feature. But yeah, if you need really close-up thermals of tiny PCB components, I would suggest, you know, getting the 001, the THOR 001, or even the Thermal Master P3. This has pretty much the best performance that I've seen in a thermal camera for up-close use. I got this to, God, I think a few centimeters away from a circuit board, and it was still able to focus. The final consideration was that I just wasn't able to get the sound to record properly on the THOR 002. It seems like the gain of the microphone is just too low, and I've literally have to scream into the thing to record audio. And yeah, I'll pass this feedback onto Thermal Master so they can address this in a future firmware patch. But yeah, just a slight annoyance for me. It's not a huge deal, but yeah, might be an issue for some of you. So overall, if you want a robust standalone thermal imager for building diagnostics, electrical work, or even just a general purpose inspection tool, the THOR 002 makes a strong case. And you've got that 256 by 192 sensor, the upscaling feature to 512 by 384. You've got the 3.5-inch IPS display, nice and clear, vibrant, built-in visible camera as well for the overlays, and also got a decent battery life, 5,000 milliamp hour battery in there. It's basically like an all-in-one kit. It's not, of course, a tiny pocket module, and it's not a specialty macro tool for getting up and close to things. This is, it's more of a handheld inspection camera. So if that's the type of camera that you're looking out for, I think the THOR 002 is definitely worth getting. But what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you have questions as well, let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you. If you enjoyed this video, found it helpful, do me a big favor, click the like button and send it to a friend or someone who might be interested in this video. It just helps me to get the channel out to more people. And if you want to see more gear and thermal camera reviews, make sure you subscribe. I have got the Thermal Master THOR 002 here, and I've got it basically pointed to my desk just to show you how it performs, how it basically looks up close. Now I've just got the thermal setting enabled at the moment, but I can put an overlay as well over the top. But as you can see, being fairly up close, about 30 centimeters away, you can't really see the individual components of the circuit board. You can only see the general structure of it, and about 30 centimeters away as well. If you get too close, as you can see, it gets all like really quite blurry. So what I'm going to do is I will start playing around with some of these different settings. So I can actually go in and select the view mode. I can change it to visible like that, and there's like an overlay setting as well. Now this isn't quite calibrated actually for up close, so as you can see, it's not completely going over the top, but you can change that as well. Say if I look in front here on my computer, it's much better. The overlays match up. Okay, but yeah, I do need to adjust this every now and then because I was looking at stuff like further away. So with the fuse mode as well, if I select it, I can change it so that the overlays are maybe more prominent, okay, compared to the thermal. So yeah, I tend to like it on maybe the 80%. Just gives some details, but it doesn't look too overly too overdone, I guess. So let's have a look. What else do we have in here? We have got fuse mode, got visible mode, picture in picture mode, as you can see here, dual spectrum fusion registration. So that's how you basically change it around. Change it around so that you've got the overlays aligned. Okay. But for the most part, I think people are going to be just using this mode, just the normal thermal mode, and that's it. And this is probably one of the most comfortable thermal cameras that I've used. Now, I've been very used to using thermal cameras that just plug into your phone, and they can be a little bit awkward to carry around, but this thing just has a lot of grip. Okay. Now you can see this is where I was walking before. You can see my footprints, you can see the chair where I was sitting in, so the armrest there. But it's so cool that you can pick up these little footprints from a distance. And this here is my fridge. So in the fridge, you can see the heat coming through the left hand side of this wall there. It's radiating through there. And the coils. Okay, fixed focus. This camera is fixed focus, so you can't change it around at all. But it has a good middle ground, like you can see what's going on close up and further away as well. That's the my intercom and my switchboard here. So there we go, little fuse, and getting up close, this is the mirror. I've just turned on some of the water. This is a fun little thing that you can play around with, but I guess if you're doing home inspections as well, this would be useful to see where the water's flowing through pipes and what have you through the walls. The water's like pretty cold at the moment, but it should change soon. Wait for that. But yeah, things like pointing it up in the roof, you might, for example, be looking for cold patches up there. Okay, here we go, the water's warmed up. Yeah, I live in an apartment. Normally, when people are looking for these things, they're looking for kind of cold patches in the corners and what have you. But yeah, it's all pretty much even temperature here. There's not any faults. But for example, you can see the blinds at the back are showing up a kind of a bluish color, a cooler color. So that is where my window is. So you can see it's a lot colder back there. See, look at little details and objects as well from a distance. Chair and all these like plugs and stuff here. Let's go outside and have a quick. Here we have just sort of view down below. You can see a couple of people walking around in the distance there. Yeah, you see some cars here as well. 2 people there below. So yeah, surprisingly has some decent amount of details and long range performance, and it's getting a little bit warmer here in Melbourne these days, so you're not getting as much kind of thermal contrast as in when it's really cold, but still, as you can see people kind of walking across, and I can't see anything that's really up yeah, through the middle of some of those buildings. Yeah, but as you can see, there's people sort of walking in between and what have you. So it could be a nice tool you use for scouting, but we'll have to test this one outside and see how it performs. Okay, so I'm just out here on a street with the THOR 002 here, and I've got the device streaming to my phone, so yeah, that way I can actually change through all the different presets and pseudo palettes, because actually when you're recording without the phone, you can't change palettes and a few other settings. So yeah, this is I think the best way for me to do this. So yeah, as you can see, I can sort of scroll through all these different bits and pieces. Now, probably actually start off in the view mode. So view mode, I've got it on IR, which is what most people are going to use anyway. There's not going to be many other, apart from maybe the fuse mode. That's another one here where I can start to actually add in a bit more of the details of the cars and stuff like that. Now, here's the thing, I do have to balance this out because it's not completely not completely aligned. So if I head into the dual spectrum fusion, I believe I can actually just align it a bit better like this. Okay, it's kind of difficult with all these cars just moving around. I'm trying to just get the buildings more or less aligned. Yeah, and you kind of have to do this, you kind of have to repeat this depending on how far away objects are and what have you. So yeah, so at the moment it's looking good.
look up the street here. It's actually lined pretty well for most purposes. I think I was using it up close before, and that was making it quite difficult, quite exaggerated. But yeah, you can also change the strength. So if I go back, head into the view mode again, fuse, and I can just lower the thermal versus the actual camera outline, so it just combines both of them together. I reckon 80% looks pretty good. Like 60 is kind of begins to look too much like the picture itself. But yeah, I'm gonna actually go through this park and see how it goes. But yeah, as you can see, it's quite easily picking people up across the street, cars, that kind of thing. So let's go for a little walk through here, and yeah, you can already see there's a bunch of people just in there. I'll go have a little walk, and cool thing you can do is also change these color palettes. So let's head to the color palettes. That's iron. Now there's lava mode here, which I believe is a kind of isotherm mode, so it just makes the hot objects stand out and everything else kind of blends into nothingness, really. So for navigating, it's not really the best, but if you're kind of looking for animals and scouting ahead, seeing if there's anyone around or just any thermal objects, it's actually pretty useful. Now this is the one I really love using, so the black hot and white hot. So more so the black hot, as you can see, it just again increases the contrast, and I'm really surprised at how well it's actually picking stuff up out here. And yeah, let's go through the different ones. So lava, there's iron, rainbow. Again, that's something I probably wouldn't use. Rainbow HC, RDGY. Yeah, I have no idea what that means. But yeah, I think the black hot and the normal what you can call it, iron is what I use the most, and getting some decent contrast out here. And if you can actually navigate with this thing, believe it or not, let's leave it on black hot. Wow, yeah, it is. There's a bit of ambient light here, but I can't really see too much of where I'm walking. So this is really helping, especially if you're just walking in the complete dark. This is going to be great. And you just point it up to the trees, and normally I can spot some animals up in the trees. In fact, there's a couple here. Huh. Okay. Yeah, and I wouldn't have even seen these two if not for the thermal camera. I still can't see them, to be honest. I only can see them with the thermal, so this is pretty cool. Pop into the different palettes. We've got lava, we've got iron again, and you can see with the lava, the eyes, more heat coming out from the eyes and the ears, which is the case with animals, maybe the mouth as well. And with the iron, you kind of almost overexposes parts of it. What is this guy doing? Okay, let's go. This one is interesting, RDGY. I'm not sure what that one is, but yeah, I do think that the black hot and the white hot seem to be best overall for navigating and producing a decent amount of contrast. So yeah, and you can even see the little details on the trees as well, which is impressive. People all the way in the back there. Measure the temperature of stuff out here. It's about maybe 17 degrees Celsius in Melbourne at the moment. Now, I know that there are little mice that hide out in these bushes, and pretty sure I can see them here. So if we get close, that might be one or something. That's something up there in the tree. Could be a possum. It's pretty, looks big, so it's probably going to be a possum. Or not. What is it? Yeah, it is a possum sticking his little head out. So even for people just doing a bit of nature spotting and stuff, this is great. And general scouting. I mean, there's a mouse. Look at that. Over there, there's something here right in the center of the field. I don't know what that is. It probably is a possum. Couple of, maybe a couple of mice actually, small mice. And you can just make out something in the tree, just where the crosshair is in the center. Don't know what that is. Okay, but definitely the larger bits and pieces, like people sitting on benches, cars. I reckon this thing would be useful up to even 100+ meters to detect, which yeah, definitely was not what I was expecting with this, and is a great little bonus. I mean, given that this it's more, I guess, tailored towards indoors use and inspections and stuff like that. Alright, let's go for a little walk. Is that a mouse? Some droppings. I think those are some possum droppings. Okay. Let's have a look. It'll be interesting to test this out when the temperature starts getting hotter and see how it performs. The only palette they don't have is a kind of night vision mode, because I suppose Thermal Master didn't intend for people to really use it outside like this, even though you can. Iron, yeah, I think the iron is just a little bit almost overexposed. If you drop the gain or something like that, but yeah, this one is much better for overall detection. So let's pop over here again. There's all these mice. All the things you don't really want to see. I kind of wish that you didn't see them sometimes. Little street down below, and check that out. It's really nice overall details, like pretty crisp even looking into the distance. Start walking up here a little bit, and yeah, what I'm most impressed with is just the crispness of the details, that tiny little bits and pieces, as you can see. And just for spotting people, that was the guy out in the front on the bench ages back, so you can't really spot the details, but more for, I guess, identification. You can see this something out there, right? And something on that tree as well. Oh, no, it went behind the tree, or someone walking. There we go. There, you can see when people walk behind the trees, they kind of disappear, but as soon as they pop out a little bit, you can see. Pretty cool. It's just like having like another kind of tool on your hand. And like I said, for navigating it's impressive. Like here, there's pretty much no light. There's a tiny little light from the apartment buildings here to the left, but it's not coming across here at all. So like up where I'm pointing the camera, it looks completely dark to me. The trees look a little bit darker, but yeah, say if there was someone sitting there, I'd be able to see them easy, which there is someone sitting there out on the bench right there in the center. So let's go out here. Yep, there's someone sitting in the dark on the bench there. this little area. Sometimes you have mice that sort of hide in there, and this is so cool. You can yeah, just, it's like night, it's basically night vision. I don't know if I'd want to walk around like this. It still feels a bit dangerous, but yeah, I'd probably lower the brightness of the screen as well. Here in the background there is some game going on. It's like a volleyball, not volleyball, netball game in court. So you can see people kind of out in the back. It's difficult to see, but closer by there's like bits and pieces. So there's that guy sitting on the bench. I can actually zoom in as well. Oops. Well, let's have a look. I'm gonna just change this to, yeah, that's, so actually this would be good to highlight. This is what it looks like out here. This is literally what it looks like out here. There's nothing really. You can't see here at all. Pop on the IR, and here we go. We can see someone walking in there. Right? You wouldn't have been able to see otherwise. Picture-in-picture fuse mode. Let's see if I can like scroll this down to maybe like 60%. Still, yeah, I don't know. I think I prefer the, definitely prefer the just the normal IR mode. And if you're obviously navigating through here in the dark, look, I'm just pointing it on the ground and you really just can't see much. There's a little bit of ambient light around. I'm sure my eyes would adapt soon, but yeah, there we go. IR mode again. It's kind of a monument being checked out. Let's have a look. I was going to show you some other things. Oh, this guy's kind of stopped here. View mode, palette, black hot, white hot. Again, the lava and the iron mode. I think even the lava mode looks a little better, if you ask me. Yeah. Okay, back to that white hot and black hot mode. Yeah, I remember what I was going to show you now. So I wanted to go with just the zoom function. So that's like what, 2 times zoom and 4 times zoom. So it's like a digital zoom. So it's not like, it's not going to be very clear, but it is better than nothing sometimes. If you really want to kind of see if something is moving out there, just examine some pixels. See, just at the back there's something moving there, a car. You know, you probably wouldn't have noticed that without the digital zoom. It's not completely useless. But yeah, you do need to have a decent enough sensor like this one with enough resolution for it to actually be helpful. And that's the kind of thing, like identification, that's probably a person there. But for detection wise, just knowing that there's an object out there or a person or something out there that's with a higher heat signature than its surrounding environment, you know, it's a great little tool to have. See if we can go spot some other animals. Guy's still sitting there. No one else around here. Yeah, it's just a little bit quieter up here because I find if I pull the camera out in front of people, I'm like, what are you doing? Some guy asked me, what are you doing, the other day? And yeah, I just said I'm making video. So whatever. There we go, someone walking around, and you can really just make out, like, generally the clothes. Is it a dress or something? Yeah, so there's some decent resolution on this thing. I'm pretty impressed. And of course that the X3 is turned on, the upscaling feature is turned on. Now, there's actually a way to turn it off. If I go into the settings, turn that off like that, you've got this more kind of pixelated setup here, right? But it still works perfectly fine, okay? 25 frames per second, but honestly, I don't see a huge difference. It does make some objects a bit sharper out in the background though, so for some of you that might be useful, but it does apply this kind of mosaic-like effect, as you can see, right? Yeah, it cleans up the image. 3 people. Let me get a bit closer to these people playing netball out the back here. See what I'm talking about. Sometimes you can see if people have been sitting here. So there, you can see there's like a hot area there. Okay. Bit of heat. And underground pipes as well. Sometimes you'll see just a little vent that's glowing darker or what have you. Okay.